So another thing that you have to do before you go out to run is to sort out the food that you're going to carry. Now, for a race that might take 24 hours, there are some sort of added complications that you don't get when you're just looking at a normal kind of marathon. One of them is whether or not you're going to be able to deal with the same kind of flavours over and over again, which means that variety can be really important, but knowing what you're going to want when is very difficult. So the other thing you've got to factor in with that is that you get a drop bag. So for this race, at about 45 kilometres out of the 83, there is an aid station where I'll be able to swap out some of my foods. So portioning up which foods go into which bags, working out how much food to take on every hour or as and when the need strikes, is quite complicated. And I've always been guilty of probably taking too much food, and I get home and I've still got sort of 3 kilos worth of food in my race vest, which is obviously not ideal because there's a lot of weight that you're carrying. So this time I'm going to try and whittle it down, and I'm going to show you, if I can flip the camera around, what I've got to take so far. So what have we got? Let's just focus this puppy. So to begin with, I'm going to be taking some Veloforte bars. Now, there are a range of different flavours and also kind of use cases of these bars. So some of them have got caffeine in them. Some of them, as you can see, have got a little bit of extra sea salt. Some of them, that's a caffeine one. This one's got a little bit of ginger. And, you know, there are various flavours. So there's berry, there's Zenzero, it's got a nice ginger fresh flavour. The Avanti is dates, pecans and sea salt. These are good. They taste delicious. I look forward to eating those. I've got 4 of those to go into the bag for the first half of the race. I probably won't get through them all, but I'm going to take them anyway. And now this one I've not tried before. I'm going to take something that's a little bit of a different texture. It's a fruit pouch, like an energy smoothie that's called by Tribal. I met these guys at Runfest Run, and I wanted to give their products a crack. It's got baobab in it, and I'm thinking, that's going to be easy to get down, so I might be getting that down sort of earlier in the race. Huma gels, Kia energy gels. I've used these before. This apple and cinnamon one is delicious, and I'm just going to keep that because I know I've got a go-to there if I want to have a gel that I really like the taste of. A regular in my bag, 33 shake Kia seed gels, and these you've got to hydrate them, but they are delicious. They're really easy to get down, and they give you sort of long sustained energy. So I've got some of those again in the bag for variety, and that's kind of all of that is natural, and that's, I think, roughly where most of my natural stops. Here we go into a bit of the sort of, I want to call it the dirty zone, but it's not quite the dirty zone. But anyway, I've got a white chocolate almond protein bar that's got a load of junk in it, really. But I've used those before, and I know that for a good hit of sugar, those seem to go down okay. Scratch Labs, these are actually delicious. That's a chocolate chips and almond one. The Miso Scratch Labs bars are actually savoury and really, really good, but I don't have any of those left, unfortunately. I've got Raw Velo, which is another brand that I'm going to try out. I haven't used these before. There's a chocolate and walnut brownie. And that sort of covers off my bars and my gels. Now, because I'm a warrior and I'm an over-preparer and I'm an overpacker, I've also got some Morton and some Tailwind. Now, Tailwind, if you're an ultra runner, you'll probably be familiar with this. This is a carbohydrate and electrolyte energy mix, and that's a drink. You mix that in your bottles and you get to drink that, and that's like an on-the-run fuel. Morton, again, it's a sports fuel that turns into a gel in your stomach. It's popular among the marathon runners, but actually I quite like the fact that it's got a fairly neutral taste. So what I'm doing here is I'm basically hedging my bets. I've got some solids, and I move into something a little bit more sort of gel smoothie like over here with these 3. Then I've got some more kind of bars, but they're a little bit kind of sweeter, a bit more sugar. And then down here I've got something that I can mix in my bottles so I can take on liquid carbs if I want. Now that's kind of the food side of things done, and then you've got to move into the hydration. And it's going to be a big one, this one, because basically it's going to be hot out there. I think it's going to be like 27, 30 degrees. So I've got some diaurolites. Again, I'm going for a variety. I've got diaurolites because I know that they go down really well in a small amount of water. I've got some SOS electrolyte powders. Love these because of the tubes. Rip them open, stick them in the bottle. There's on the soft flasks that I've got, those go in easy. And I've actually got this, which is, I'm really a big fan of all natural. And this is Veloforte's hydration powder. And that is made from 100% natural ingredients. There's no messing around with that. It tastes absolutely delicious, and you can see the real fruit pieces in it. And again, that's one that I'm going to look forward to. So I'm going to hedge my bets with some of these, and I've got some of these that if the shit hits the fan, I need something fresh and something rewarding, then I've got some go-tos here. I have options. And then what I've done over here is I've got a drop bag that I'm going to pick up at 45, and I've split out some of the foods in there. To there. Actually, I forgot to mention these. I've been carrying these little things. They're basically a little bit like sort of turbo Haribo. They're chews, lots of carbs, but there's two, which the Scratch Labs and the Power Bar. They do a very similar thing, more like sweets, but they're quite easy to eat, and you can just take a couple at a time. So you can do something that's a bit lighter on the stomach, and that I'm a big fan of as well. So I've found those to be a good go-to. And what I'm going to do, I'll have a bunch of that in my drop bag. I'm probably carrying more in the first off than I need to, but I think that's cool. And that is pretty much how I'm going to approach my race fuel for the Andorra Celeste Trail. And I'll do that little eye movement again, just for emphasis.